Yeah.
Only because I've seen 3 people trip on it so far, and I'm worried it's going to cause a problem, you know?
Well, welcome everyone, and welcome to our party, because this is what we're going to try and pull off tonight. We want everyone to have fun. Fun is all about a party. We've got a little bit of serious talk in the beginning, but then we're going to let you guys loose with a Q&A session with all our authors. We've got a lovely catered banquet here by Matt Tooni. We're going to have some more music by Ian Moore and his band. So we're just going to get started. My name is Thomas Crowe, and we're here to celebrate the Great Smoky Mountains. This place is a beautiful place in which we live. It also happens that we're here to celebrate on the right day, the fall equinox. Today is the first day of fall, folks. So welcome to fall. A beautiful day today. Had some nice rain the last few days. We needed that. And we're glad to see all of you here. Want you to have a good time and maybe learn a couple things too in the process. We're going to start tonight. I'd like to introduce Barbara Duncan, my colleague. We're also here to celebrate the publication of a book by Voices from the American Land. It's a special edition that they've published of poetry of Barbara's and mine and Brent Martin's, celebrating the Great Smoky Mountains. And Barbara Duncan is my colleague and is one of the co-authors of this book. She's the education director at the Museum for the Cherokee Indian, an award-winning author of several books. Recently published a book of poetry called Crossing Caldwell Mountain. One of my favorite singer-songwriters, and you're going to get to hear her sing a couple of her songs here in a little bit. And she's going to introduce our first speaker. Barbara?
Very happy to be here tonight. I really appreciate all of you coming out. I want to start the evening with introducing a Cherokee friend of mine who's going to start us off with a few words and a prayer. We have invited Jerry Wolf, who is a Cherokee elder, to come, but his family decided to throw him a surprise birthday party tonight. And he is going to be 87 next week. And so the Cherokee people and I also say family comes first. So Jerry's with his family. And we are honored to have tonight Matt Tooni, who is a young man from the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians, who is one of a new generation of Cherokee people who are very dedicated to not only preserving their culture, but to carrying it on into the future and making it meaningful for the generations to come. Matt grew up in the Painttown community. He now works at the Oconaluftee Indian Village, where he is the singer and leader for the Oconaluftee Village Dancers, not the village people, although we do affectionately refer to them as such. So, but Matt is going to open up the evening here with maybe a song and a prayer. And I just think it's very appropriate that we honor and acknowledge the Cherokee people who've lived in these mountains for, millennia. The archaeologists say down at Udua, at least 14,000 years. Archaeologists down at Topper, South Carolina, about 100 miles from here, say that people have lived there for more than 50,000 years. And so the Cherokees and their ancestors have been in these mountains a very long time, long enough to know the plants, the animals, the spirits, and long enough so that their bones and their dust are the very fabric of these mountains. So please welcome Matt Tooni.
Hello everyone. I'm very glad to be here and to be a part of this, and especially thank Barbara here for inviting me to do this, even though it was on such short notice. You know, I'm flexible like this. So she's asked me to come here and speak a little bit about the connection between Cherokee and our people. And before we get into that, we'll go ahead and start off with a prayer. Unfortunately, I'm not that well fluent in my language, although I should be, but I'm getting there. So for the prayer, we'll go ahead and do it in English, and probably after that, I'll do a song in the language. We'll suffice it that way. So if I can have everybody stand up, it's a man on Duncan. Our Heavenly Father, thank you for letting us come here and meet like this today. We also like to thank the rest of the speakers that are going to be here. Bless them and help them with whatever they do, and bless these folks that have compiled this book, this poetry book that they have come up with. Bless them, Lord. Let it be a light to the importance of these mountains and why we need to be a good steward to them. And thank you again for this day and for allowing us to see another day, and be with us for the rest of this evening, even after we dismiss from here into the night. And again, thank you for your blessings, and bless everybody in here in this room. In your heavenly, righteous, heavenly name I pray. Amen. Amen. All right. Now, my culture, we have many ways of prayer. There was many ways it could be through dancing. We have prayer dances. We do. Sometimes it would go all night long, but we won't do that. Another one was tobacco. That was used for ceremonial purposes, and again, that was used for prayer. And what we would do is we would take that smoke into our mouths. We'd say our prayer within that smoke, and we would release it, and the smoke would rise up to the heavens, and it would go, and the Creator would smell that type of tobacco we had, and knew it was us praying, and He would help us in any way He could, whatever it was we were asking for. He would try and help us in any way He could. And another style is song. We have prayer songs. Now, during the 1800s, we were pretty much converted into Christianity, and we started getting some materials in our own language that are songs. A lot of the church hymnals were translated into our language due to the syllabary Sequoia had invented, and we were able to read and do these songs in our language. And they're to some familiar tunes, but the message itself that are inside these songs are prayers. They're prayer songs. They don't really translate into what you see in the hymnal itself. It's asking the Creator for help, whatever you need. There's certain songs for it. And this song I'm going to do for you I guess I'll call it a prayer song. It's to the tune, I Will Arise and Go to Jesus. This is one of the songs that they would sing on the Trail of Tears back in 1838. Well, like it or not, my voice, bear with me. So here it goes. Yehovah Zanethana Higatzawada Ziloshi Dagaya Dishkala Neli Zanaye Stini Iyuye no Galaladi Inagwata Netana histories are, we always had oral traditions. Everything is passed down by word of mouth. Mainly because we didn't have a written language or any type of writing system before 1824. Everything that we learned, we always learned from our elders. And that's how we transfer the information to know what to do. We always ask questions. Now, our people have been here, and like I said, in our histories, we've always been here. We didn't come across no barren strait or anything like that. We've always been here. We said the Creator put us here, and He gave us the job of being stewards to these mountains. And just like the trees, our roots go deep into this earth, and we're just settled in here just like the trees are. And we're, in a way, spiritually connected to things, like the trees and the animals. We were able to do things in nature. That's how we did our society. We looked at things in nature and how they did it to make an influence in our lives back then. You take, for instance, birds. Now, the golden eagle. Now, the golden eagle is the eagle that we hold sacred, mainly because of the lifestyle that eagle leads. Once that eagle finds a mate, he stays with her for life. Should she pass away, or should that eagle pass away, they never do go out and look for another. And they always stay together and raise their children. And we looked at that, and we seen how it did and how it acted. And we applied the same to our people. We took that from them. And that's, I guess, importance of family too. Because family is just as important as keeping these trees, these mountains. Because there's a lot of things in these mountains, medicinal purposes, that we had a long time ago. We had every cure for every sickness that we were known to. And it's possible that we even have the cure for cancer here. But due to the lack of interest or lack of knowledge, therefore, we've lost that knowledge somewhere along the way. And it's just as so, though, in today's time, where there's a lot of abuse for medicinal purposes. I understand that, where my elders come from, in that sense. But even doing so, we don't have that knowledge to prevent illnesses like we used to as well. Because there are also foods in these mountains that are getting scarce due to over indulging in them. A popular food is ramps. That wild onion everybody likes. Your girlfriend might not kiss you for a while, but that's good. But that's one food source that we had for ages, thousands of years. We've had that. We knew how to cook it. Now, when you go out and you harvest these things, you see people pulling them up by the roots. You're not supposed to do that. When you take something, you only take what you need. You don't need root and all. You leave the root and allow it to heal and allow it to grow back. So that way, the next time it's time to go harvest them, you'll have it. But by picking things out of the root, it's not doing it. You're not helping anything. You're not helping the land. You're not helping the environment that you have. That's one food source you're going to lose. Just like with anything else. Like killing animals like bears. You just do that for sport. That bear has an important part in this environment, just like we do. But we have a tendency of overindulging, just like I said. People hunting for sport. and not using the bear for anything. That bear is there to give you food. That meat is there to give you sustenance. His fur is there to keep you warm whenever you're cold. His claws can be used as tools, as his bones, as his teeth. Everything of that bear you can use. You don't have to go and kill something just so you can do it. That bear has a purpose. We do, as stewards of these mountains. Now, my people here were stewards of these mountains. Europeans arrived, they became stewards of these mountains. The younger generation now, they are born here. They are the stewards of these mountains. Just like my people. Just like the youth on the reservation. They are stewards of these mountains. And it's important to make sure and make aware of what we're doing. Because if we overindulge in anything, that can turn our environment upside down. And we won't know what to do. Just like killing that bear. Or even killing a deer. There was a time during the 1700s when trade was real big and the main source of trade was deer skins. Now, in the lower towns, which is in South Carolina, they were overindulging in these deer, and the deer had almost completely been wiped out because of that. And because these people did so in these lower towns, they left because they felt unworthy to stay there because they did not do their part of stewardship. They didn't kill what they needed. They didn't take just enough. They overindulged just because trade was an important source that we needed. That deer, we wouldn't even have deer today if it wasn't for that. But since they did that, they allowed the deer to repopulate. And now we still have deer. Another source that we used to have, which died out in the 1790s, was bison. We had mountain bison in this area, on these mountains. They were smaller than the buffalo that you see out today, but due to overindulging, excessive killing, you took that. We took that source away that used to be here. Just like that bear, that buffalo, you could use that meat. You could use that fur for a blanket or for anything that you needed. You could use that. But due to an overindulgence, you don't have that. And if we keep doing that today, we won't have no materials for anything. We won't have no food. And that's the importance of stewardship. To be aware of how much to take. Our people have been doing it for thousands of years, 11,000 to 14,000 years we've been here. We understood. But somewhere along the way, our people got away from that. It didn't matter if you killed a lot. It didn't matter if you overindulged in something. We lost track of that. We're slowly getting it back today. But these are things that we've been taught for years, ages. And through the years, we've lost track of that. And thanks to that, we don't see the environment as important. We just, all we see is probably housing signs. We probably see it as fires. We gotta pay attention to what we take and how much we take of it. Don't take what you don't need. Take just enough so that your family will be sustained and that them trees will still be there, along with the wildlife. because we have to share this. It ain't just about us. It's about the wildlife, how we treat our streams, basically how we treat each other. And if we don't watch how we treat each other and how much we take, before too long we won't be here. Because we were too foolish to see how much was just enough. How much is too much. And with that, I thank you for allowing me to come here and speak to you, and I hope, I got the point that Barbara wanted me to make through this. I don't mean to stand up here and preach at you, but I guess to me that's how I feel. I don't mean it that way. But again, I thank you.